Dr. Gottlieb, we kind of expected that this would be the case. Is there anything we hadn't been expecting or anything we can do about any of it at this point?
I don't think so at this point. I think the trajectory is kind of baked right now. You're seeing cases rapidly decline in the East Coast and Florida as well. You're also seeing cases come down in California, and you're seeing hospitalizations fall, which is a good sign. But the infection is spreading to the Midwest. Now, I think the national average, when you look at the national trends, those are going to start to come down because the big populated regions of the country are all coming through this Omicron wave, and it's spreading to the heartland, which has a small population. But the heartland will be hard hit. If you look at the mountain states like Wyoming, Montana, North Dakota right now, they're having infections go up. The one outlier is California and Los Angeles, the Los Angeles area. The data there is kind of funky. They seem like they're through the peak of their Omicron wave, but they didn't have nearly as many cases as what we saw on the East Coast. One reason may be is because they had that very dense epidemic last winter with that Los Angeles variant that you'll remember, which had the 484K mutation in it. That may have provided some cross-immunity to Omicron, because what we saw in South Africa is that people who were previously infected with 1351, the old South African variant, seem to have been less susceptible to Omicron, and that 484K mutation is in both of those variants.
When you say that the Midwest in particular is going to get hit hard, what does that mean for hospitals? What does that mean for schools? Because we have seen a big step to try and keep the schools open no matter what comes this time around.
Yeah, look, I think they're well into it right now. They have maybe another week to 10 days to go. So, you know, they're weathering it, but you are seeing healthcare systems get pressed, especially in more rural parts of the country where you didn't have a lot of hospital capacity to begin with. So I think that there's going to be some challenges in some of those states where you have lower hospital capacity, rising infections, lower vaccination rates as well. But many of them are well into the epidemic right now. Look, this has infected about 15%, about 4.5%, of the population. 15 million people have been diagnosed with Omicron. If you assume that we're only diagnosing 1 in 5 cases, probably upwards of 25% of Americans have been infected, and that many may be infected on the back end. We may get 40 to 50% of Americans infected with this by mid-February. So over 8 weeks, about 40 to 50% of the public will have been infected with Omicron. There's really no modern precedent for that. The flu each year infects maybe 10 to 15% of the population over a 16-week period. This will be over 8 weeks infecting almost half the U.S. population. We don't have any precedent for that. And so this is going to press healthcare systems.